Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donya Verna, and the final report we choose is about the climate change vulnerability and adaptation preparedness in Kenya. Next is the contents of this report. First is the national context. Second, national priorities. Third, issues and concerns. Fourth is the way forward. Next is the location of Kenya. Kenya is located in eastern part of the African continent and the northern part bordered by Sudan and Ethiopia, while in the southeastern part bordered by the Indian Ocean. Kenya has a total area of 582,650 square kilometer, and in inland water, Kenya has a total area of 13,400 square kilometer, and in coastline, it has a total area of 536 kilometer, and Kenya has a total population of 56,081,521 as of May 2024 based on Worldometer elaboration of the latest United Nations data. This ends my report. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. By the way, I'm Daisy Milabadan. So, national context, geographical characteristics and composition, hydrology. The coast is a low-lying area and extremely fertile. It has a coral reef supported by a dry coastal plain. There are a number of lakes and rivers. Most of the lakes are located in the Rift Valley in the northern part, example Lake Turkana, Victoria, Naivasha, and Nakuru. Geology. The terrain of the country gradually changes from the low-lying coastal plains to the Kenyan highlands. Great Rift Valley is located in the central and western part of the country. Climate. Most part of the country have tropical climates, hot and humid at the coast, temperate inland and very dry in the north and northeast part of the country. The average annual rainfall is low at 1,200 mm and the average daily temperature ranges from 27 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius. A drought-prone country, so the majority of the country receives less than adequate rainfall needed to support crop cultivation. National priorities, vulnerability and adaptation assessment. So there are three economic sectors included in the vulnerability and adaptation assessments. First is the agriculture, second is the water resources, third is human health. Undertake more vulnerability and adaptation assessment studies for pilot areas that need to be validated. Simulation models used. General circulation models selected and used for the analysis of the future climate scenarios in vulnerability and adaptation assessments. First is establishing a national climate change awareness campaign. The National AIDS or STD Control Program or the NASCOP model for sexual transmitted disease can be adopted. Second is the IUCN has a regional climate change and development program that includes vulnerability assessments using a tool called CRESTAL, community-based risk screening tool adaptation and livelihoods, and piloting of adaptation activities at community level. Third is the National AIDS or STD Control Program model or the. That's all of my part and thank you for listening.
So, I am Jerica Adalid. So, under simulation results, agriculture, affected by climate extremes through drought, whereby a lack of soil moisture has an immediate impact on crop output, and then later by floods. Kenya's year-to-year productivity causes substantial problems for poor subsistence farmers, as rain-fed crops are lost during unusually dry or wet seasons. And the adaptation, farmers can adapt to climate change by implementing several strategies. These include changing planting and harvesting times, using drought-resistant crops, improving irrigation efficiency, and adopting new farming practices and technologies. So next is water resources. In Kenya, they have a limited of fresh water, and the adaptation of that is that implementing efficient water management practices and improving irrigation systems, constructing reservoirs, and promoting water conservation techniques. And also in human health, geographical spread and number of people affected by such diseases as malaria, yellow fever, and encephalitis. Increased occurrence of floods due to heavy rains is also likely to spark incidences of waterborne diseases such as cholera. Adaptation, improving access to clean water sources for high promotion, increasing public awareness about disease prevention measures, and strengthening healthcare system for emergency response. So next is the issues and concerns. The current climate change governance policy, legal and institutional framework was not strong enough to address the existing issues and concerns. The level of climate change awareness most in the countrywide is very low. Drought are becoming more and more frequent, giving victims no time to recover. Increased competition for scarce resources exacerbates environmental degradation, which in turn increases the community's vulnerability to drought. That's all, and thank you.
Good morning po. Here is a continuation po of our topic, the climate change vulnerability and adaptation preparedness in Kenya. So here are the future improvements for the country's adaptation to climate change phenomenon. So first, we have the National Climate Change Response Strategy is a positive step towards erasing climate change, and hence for it to be effective. So there is a need, no, for strong policies that address mitigation and adaptation by giving guidelines on integration and mainstreaming of this into various sectors and institutions. Since one of the issue in Kenya is poor or weak governance, specifically on policies concerning climate change mitigation and adaptation. So for it to be more effective and efficient, no, in combating the impacts of climate change there, with their vision or through their vision nga mahimo silang low carbon society in societal levels, and also a strong implementation of the policies concerning agriculture, since knowing that agriculture is really prevalent and that countryman good, so it has something to do with the structural change that requires joint action by all sectors of society sa Kenya, including, of course, no, the agricultural sector, the education, the industries, and many more. So another one, we have the due to the this coordination of institutions in the country that work on climate change issues, establishment of mechanism that would coordinate climate change activities in the country would be helpful, such as the proposed creation, no, of the Climate Change Secretariat at the Ministry of Environment and, and Mineral Resources to oversee and coordinate the country's climate change activities. So, another example are the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife, the Climate Change Coordination Unit, or the CCU. They also have a community-based organization, the development partners, the private sector, civil society organization, and research academic institutions. So with that, we can really say nga ang Kenya nga country has actually has a lot, no, a lot or numerous institutional environmental agencies which definitely work for them to become a climate change resilient and ma-improve, no, ang ilang adaptive capacity. So the third one, we have develop awareness programs that target those with some knowledge of climate change to help groups of people take advantage of the opportunities that climate change brings. So this will involve bringing the attention of the business community to the existence of mechanisms such as the clean development mechanism, and the reduce emissions from deforestation and forest degradation plus. So, and further explaining how this mechanism works. So, this can, like, for example, this mechanism, no, the reduce emission from deforestation and forest degradation, this is being funded, no. This is kanang ginakuan sa Global Environmental Agency, like the UNEP, no, that is being funded by UNEP, no, mo na kung nabasa. So, I don't know if uh, reliable or accurate ba to siya nga info, but kana siya. But ang inaingon nila is this is being funded by the Global Environmental Agency, like the UNEP. So, kani siya nga mechanism, the reduce emission is ginasuportaan nila ang mga developing countries like the Kenya, no, that is belong to the developing country. Ginasuportaan nila nga stop nila, ginabayran nila ang kana nga mga country nga ipa-stop ang pag-cutting down like sa mga trees or any mga activities nga heavily maka-contribute sa climate change. So, kana siya. And um, the last one we have, oy, ambak man si Uncle. So, the last one we have, according to the IPCC or the Governmental Panel on Climate Change, the Kenya will suffer more intense and frequent droughts in the 21st century. This can jeopardize, no, many of the country's development aspiration. So the most potential or the most urgent step nga ilang buhaton is ilang i-eradicate ang famine and malnutrition in drylands, which is actually rampant kini siya dito sa drylands, no, kaning famine and malnutrition, which is an achievable goal pod noon siya kay given the significant advances made in seasonal weather and forecasting, remote sensing and early warning. So, given the fact man good nga ang Kenya is init yun na siya nga country. So, muna siya nahulog nga double ang ilang pagka-vulnerable kay since vulnerable, no, kay init siya, no, init ang iyang climate is long ang iyang drought season na noon. Tapos as projected by the IPCC, no, by 20 years mas muinit mas mo intense pag yun ang kainit niya, provided nga kani siya nga country is mabutang siya nga low class country, meaning to say they don't have sufficient resources, funds, or in general daily enough ang ilang capacity para mahimong climate change resilient, and knowing also nga their most of the people there ang means of living nila is mostly through agriculture, so basically uh, apektado gid sila. So so that's it po. Thank you po, Sir Padilla.